Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. So, there's a few different things I want to talk about today that I haven't been talking about, but due to a good number of emails I've gotten, I think we need to. I feel like the level of misunderstanding is maybe out of line a little bit. So, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about a little bit about surge transportation, yellow freight, how they kind of go together here. A company called PLS. Talk about credit checks, some new ways to check credit, maybe working on, and then what you need to do here to get help you get paid. That's all I care about is helping you get paid. The yellow thing, everybody, oh, talk about yellow, talk about yellow. It's not that I don't care. I feel bad for all the people that lost their job and were badly affected by this, but I can't sit here and worry about everybody else's trucking company. We got our own business to run. It does affect the industry. Maybe I just come at it from a different perspective of, oh crap, this happened. How do I protect myself and make sure I get paid? Which is, what I want to see happen for you. Let's talk a little bit about a few of the emails I've gotten about the collections, transportation, bankruptcy type thing, about not getting paid. Basically, about not getting paid on loads. Okay, I've had people tell me, and I disagree strongly. So don't. These aren't my words. That oh, well, I'll just file against their bond. I'll get my money. Or, well, I don't need to have somebody do collections for me. I'll take them to small claims court, and it's only a $2,500 bill. They're not going to show up, or it's a slam dunk that I win. Uh, and I'll tell you why it's not. Or that I'll just wait for the bankruptcy court to hash it out and get my money through there. Well, none of these things are going to happen in your favor, unfortunately. And I feel like I can talk about this because I've been through it before. I've had people go bankrupt on money they owe me before, and it never ends as optimistically as you think it's gonna. You never even come close to being made whole, and most times you don't get anything at all. Is a sad fact of the matter, especially in the case of a surge and a yellow. Well, let's back up just a second, okay? Talk about this brokerage PLS, okay? Just saw somebody sent to me from Facebook that they increased their payment terms from 30 days to 60 days. So if you're dealing with that company, keep an eye out. Watch it. Maybe it's time to start collections. Be at the front end of that, not at the back end, because the one at the back end, you're left with very little or nothing. And the warning signs are already there. Be aggressive about it. Okay. And we'll tell you how to do that in just a little bit. So surge and yellow. Um, I I wanted to know kind of on a deeper level what's the real deal here. So I get emails from various people all the time. From with one of the, I guess, ancillary benefits of being on YouTube is people contact you just out of the blue to, hey, I saw your video and I just wanted to add this or that. So I talked to a couple people that were both. One was a transportation actual attorney, and then another one was had a similar type job. Doesn't want to be give his identity out. So anyway, they both tell me that, particularly about yellow, that their sources are telling them that this thing will likely exceed $1 billion bankruptcy and be the largest bankruptcy ever in transportation. They've been around for 100 years, so they got, they're in deep in a lot of different places. And something they both said, and they don't know of each other as far as I know, is they both told me that, hey, we believe that both of these companies will switch from Chapter 11 to Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which completely absolves them of any responsibilities to pay debt. Now, at the moment, they're both at Chapter 11, and Surge is still operating, which I kind of have a problem with. I understand their legal right and everything, but we'll get into that a little bit. One thing I don't feel like has been mentioned enough is in these bankruptcies that secured creditors will get paid first. All right. As in the position we're in with holding freight bills, we're going to be unsecured creditors. So we're gonna be at that lower end of people that get paid. We're gonna be low priority. And in the case of a company like Surge, with a $12 million bankruptcy and very little in assets, what do you think you're going to get? You're going to get nothing. You're going to get fractions of a penny on the dollar if you get anything, which is what's very likely to happen. Um, and I'm not one that's going to be fooled by this. Oh, we're now in bankruptcy, so the court's handling of payments. Everybody in the past is going to have to wait for their money, and you're in a bankruptcy. And everybody from this date of the filing forward, your payment is guaranteed over here by this. Somebody did in fact secure funding for Surge to keep operating, but me, that's a commission of like a moral shortcoming with them. Screw you, what you did for me yesterday. I'm just not going to pay. Forget about your payment. What are you going to do for me today and going forward? Is basically how I see that. And from today going forward, I'm going to do for you is give you the middle finger. I'm not hauling your freight um, because of what you did, that moral shortfall you just committed. So that's kind of my position on it. Now, well, more about that. DAT, we talked about DAT still letting them post loads in bankruptcy, which, hey, that's their business. We were, through your guys' phone calls and actions with the video I did, we were able to get them to put that bankruptcy warning on there when you opened it up, but they're still operating. And in fact, their credit rating went up on DAT. It was 84 last time I checked in that previous video. Now it is 85. And I understand that with the secured funding and whatnot. But you got a company that's done some bad things here. I don't feel like it's appropriate to uh, extend them a better credit rating. All right, we're gonna come back to this credit rating thing in a minute because I'm all kinds of twisted up about that. So, and it's not just DAT. That's just the one I use. I have no idea what other uh, load boards are doing. For me, I'm not even gonna go down that avenue of trying to collect through the bankruptcy court. All right. If you watch here, you know that I have partnered with Alexander Winton Associates, a collections attorney. Hey, if you don't like them, if you think their fees are out of line or whatever, then by all means get somebody else. But I'm here to tell you, get somebody to represent you. I like them; they're very good at it. The fees disclosure range from 20% to 40%. Nothing if you don't collect. So it's all contingency, and I know I'm going to get nothing through bankruptcy court. So if they can go out and collect from me from a third party, shipper or receiver, or beneficiary, whatever they get, I'm happy to get 60% of something than 40% of nothing because I've been through this before. I have got nothing. So I know how these things typically go. Something that they recently taught me is time matters. So if you got a freight bill with Surge right now that you could be well over 90 days, right? If you haul the load for them in May or June, and then you're already past due, and all of a sudden they file bankruptcy, well now you're probably well past 90 days, and it's only going to get further. These bankruptcy things can take a while before they get sorted out, and 18 months. Remember, 18 months is a key time frame. You have 18 months from the time of the freight bill or time of invoice to collect from third party beneficiary. So don't drag your feet. Get on it now because even these things can take a while, right? They may be getting inundated with, if you got that many millions of dollars, they're probably getting inundated with phone calls, emails, and registered mail of people trying to collect. And even that could possibly take some time. So if you take nothing away from this video other than that, remember 18 months is the time frame for collecting from a third party. Let's circle back again to the emails. Okay. I'm somebody saying I'm going to take them to small claims court and they don't have a leg to stand on. Well, guess what? Neither do you. You can't take them to small claims court. That debt is in bankruptcy. That court can't even hear it. They're going to say, get the hell out of here. We can't even hear this case. The one thing I've been told that Yellow is doing is trying to move some of the Yellow freight through Yellow Logistics, their brokerage side of it. Me personally, I would be real careful and skeptical of that. I would be watch my money like a hawk there, because if they're trying to take all the profits and feed them into the other company, they're going to cut themselves short of being able to pay you. Will they rack up more debt on that company and do the same thing? I don't know. Just saying things. These are things to watch for. Once a company does something of morally wrong, you have to watch all the companies that they're overseeing, or parent company, or whatever associated with, right? Because apparently they're not afraid to do that. They'll do it again. And I've had a few people email me, hey, they owe me. Luckily, they've all been smaller freight bills, less than $1,000. So people are going to be out money, but it's not going to be tens of thousands. Well, some people will be out that much, but that's all that I've gotten the emails on. Which brings us down to credit checks. So if I go on DAT right now and I look up surge transportation, I'm seeing 85 credit score, 22 days to pay. I don't know who gives a 85 credit score to a company that's in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I don't care if their payments are guaranteed going forward. You're not looking at the company as a whole. So so then whose credit ratings can you trust on DAT? If one of them is garbage, are all of them garbage? If nothing else, they're very outdated, in my opinion. All right, let's look at here. Let me bring up PLS Logistics Services. Credit score of 90 with 23 days to pay. Well, isn't that against what their terms they just extended, 23 days? So how far outdated is that? And credit score of 90, okay, maybe they're not actually in default on debt. Definitely, as far as I know, not in bankruptcy, but 90 is still significantly, lower than your ones you're seeing with 97, 95. It's a lower, at least it's not top tier credit, but still I don't feel good about that. I want to investigate that company further. So what can you believe about their credit rating and their listings and their you know credit worthiness of the companies? Are they the best people? They don't do their own credit ratings. They bring them in from another company. Well, what's that company doing? So I'm not trusting these people anymore. I've always been in the opinion, if it doesn't exist, go do it yourself. And I'm gonna find me a better way to check credit ratings. Now, some factoring companies are using the same company that is doing credit ratings for DAT. Well, what good does that do us if we know that it's no good on DAT? So I'll be reaching out and seeking other sources of that. And if you don't have a factoring company, I've checked these ones where you can check ratings for free. I don't like any of them. They're incomplete and don't give you enough information. So I'm gonna do some reaching out to different places. We can come up with something, because the people, if you're relying on DAT and you don't have a factoring company, you're kind of out in Dun and Bradstreet. I'm sorry, to me, it's no good. It's useless. Did you know that Dun and Bradstreet lost their government contract for the General Services Administration? They had it taken away because has Dun and, if you guys out there that have a Dun's number, have they ever contacted you asking for a whole bunch of money to boost your credit rating, or improve your credit profile so we can get your credit rating up? Isn't that kind of pay to play? If they're asking me for money to help improve my credit rating, are they doing it for these other people? And then if it's done, how can I rely on that information being accurate rather than just paid for? So to me, that's no bueno. Also, there's got to be a better way out there, and we'll certainly try to find it. But anyway, long story short, if you're owed money, get on the stick. Don't be passive about it. Be aggressive. If you can't be, hire somebody to do it, whoever that may be. If you need resources, they're in the description below this video. Put some links in the comments. And it's no longer playtime. This is too much of this fraud and non-payment going on. It's hard. It's hard enough to run a business, but even harder when you have to now be terribly concerned about everybody you deal with not paying you. So everybody take care, and we'll see you next time.